Love that song. So spirited and fun. Thank you so much. I get to introduce the theme for February today. And the theme is Living Everyday Wonder, the Inner Life. Today, we focus on, can I see God in me? Ernest Holmes has this to say about this topic. In moments of real inspiration, we understand, at least to some degree, that God is all, the life in everything, and the love through everything. This is by Dr. Brian Weiss from Only Love is Real. God is everything, an energy of love that possesses an incomprehensible wisdom and power. God is in each and every one of us, and God is the substance of our being. And finally, Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith says that if we do not have self-love and appreciation and a level of patience and compassion with ourselves, we won't have it in relationship with another. Let's affirm together. Please read with me. The spirit within me is God, and that spirit is perfect. Thank you for the honor of being able to read that to you. And at this time, I would like to introduce our beloved Reverend Kathleen, who will give us her wonder-filled message today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Monica. That was so well presented. I really appreciate that. And also Sharon, love that song. Okay. February, here we are, a whole new month again, the month of love. And everyday wonder, this thing that we are cultivating throughout the entire year, is a state of mind or a state of being. It's something that we can consciously cultivate. And it goes hand in hand with other qualities like gratitude. I don't know if any of you have been tuning into the Winter Olympics this week, but just in watching these amazing athletes, and I was thinking in particular of the Olympic figure skater Nathan Chen. I watched his beautiful performance. And I was struck. I mean, I was in such a state of awe and wonder as I watched him perform these spins and flips in the air and landing on the ice in perfect grace. And just the awe and wonder of what it took to train his body and his mind and everything to coordinate like that in order to offer this beautiful artistic presentation of movement for us and for the world. And you know, he's one among many athletes who put in a lot of time and energy into training their bodies and their minds to do these amazing, amazing things. Truly, it is a reminder to me of the miracle of life. The idea that we are spirit in body, and that we have these unlimited potentialities and possibilities. And we see that every time another record gets broken. We get to see that in the Olympics. We keep pushing what we thought was the limits. Again, it's the mind in coordination with the body temple responding. It's a miracle. And so wonder and gratitude, things like wonder and gratitude, to me are heaven on earth. It's feeling the presence of the one cosmic energy in the universe that I call God. That it's the feeling of that. And along with that is love. Love is very much part of the state of wonder. It is a feeling of heaven on earth. And that's what we're cultivating, isn't it? It's those feelings of the very nature of the divine that we bring into our lives and that touch all of our relationships. And that love that I'm talking about is agape love. It's an all-inclusive love. When I studied the Aramaic meanings of certain words, Aramaic words, in a Bible study that I took a couple years ago, the word that was translated into perfect love it really meant all-inclusive love. So this so-called perfect love is when we truly offer our love to all of creation, everyone and everything. So all-inclusive love, that's what we're talking about this month. It's not just a love for a certain person to the exclusion of others, which often has been what people have defined of love in the past. This is a love that is bigger, broader, wider, totally inclusive of all. So this month we are exploring the wonder of the inner life, the miracle of the inner life. So from one cosmic presence in the universe comes the spiritual, mental, and physical universe. So it's all life, all love, all order, all energy, all harmony, all physical, all the different levels, layers, areas, and realms of this multi-dimensional universe. It's all of one source. And I love the Native American saying that says, "Great Spirit sleeps in the rocks, awakens in the plants, walks around in the animals, but knows itself in humankind." Such a beautiful way of expressing this amazing nature of the divine that is present in, through, and as all. And Master Teacher Jesus once said, "Know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." So what is that truth that he's talking about? Well, it's an awareness. It's an awareness that you are, my friends, the very essence of God, a unique, individualized expression of the one in this human, we call it this human experience. Pure spirit. Your essence, because it is of God, cannot be destroyed, diminished, or damaged in any way. That spirit essence that you are is eternal, it is unlimited, it is your true identity. And I love that Sharon started off with that song, "I am light." The light is the spirit essence that we are. And it is very clear in that song, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not this, I am light, I am pure spirit. And in addition to that, we are therefore interconnected with, interdependent upon the entire web of life, both animate and inanimate. That has become more and more prominent in the awareness of those on our planet who are, who are putting things in the media. And in particular, I know I've shared it a lot. Optimist Daily, that I get in my email every day, is just such a great example of people who are spreading that kind of truth and that awareness with the things that are going on our planet. So the truth, this truth that sets you free, this truth of your being, your true nature, is what informs us as we realize then that we are here in this human, we can call it a flesh suit or an earth suit that's adapted for this time-space reality, so we can exist here while we are discovering and demonstrating our divinity, our divine nature, which means expressing the wisdom and the love and the brilliance, the light that we are in the world. It's the truth that sets us free, that all-inclusive love that is part of why we are here. We're here to offer that, to give that, to express that, and to realize some qualities about that.
I'm sorry. Excuse me?
Oh.
Excuse me, sorry. Sorry. We interrupt this program with a news flash. I need to look this way. We interrupt this program with a news flash. The Center for Disease Control now says that a new virus has been discovered. It spreads very rapidly from one person to the next. It is so contagious that even one person can pass it on to millions. The CDC advises that in order to avoid contracting this virus, you must keep a distance of at least 50 feet between you and anyone displaying these symptoms. They have given it an interesting name. It's called Super Magnified Infinite Love Energy, or for short, SMILE. We now return to our regularly scheduled program. Reverend Kathleen?
Thank you, Michelle. So actually, it's not really a contagious dis-ease. It's actually a contagious ease and grace. I think that's more like it. When we smile, our super magnified infinite love energy is a power that ignites the hearts of everyone that we touch. And that means all of our fellow travelers. That includes animals, because animals know when we smile as well. And you know, it reminds me of a beautiful quote from the Mishnah, which is the part of the Talmud of the Jewish tradition. It says, "Many candles can be kindled from one candle without diminishing it." I'm going to read that again. "Many candles can be kindled from one candle without diminishing it. Your love is that candle that is inexhaustible, that actually increases the more that you give it." That's the nature of love. My favorite Louise Hay affirmative prayer goes like this. This is the first part of it. "Deep at the center of my being is an infinite well of love. I now allow this love to flow to the surface. It fills my heart, my body, my mind, my very being, and radiates out in all directions and returns to me multiplied. The more love I use and give, the more I have to give. The supply is endless. The more love I use and give, the more I have to give. The supply is endless." Isn't that beautiful? So again, we're not diminished by expressing our love. We truly widen the channel through which it can flow. And because it's sourced from God, it is inexhaustible, it is infinite, continually replenishing itself in, through, and as us. So we're giving then from the overflow, the more love that we give. And it begins, my friends, with self-love. This cannot be overemphasized. You know, in the past, people used to say, well, that's selfish, you know, to love yourself. And what we know is loving ourselves is loving God. Because remember, God is within us. We're talking about loving the God self that we are, our true nature. Louise Hay's prayer goes on to say, "I love myself, therefore I take loving care of my body. I lovingly feed it nourishing foods and beverages. I lovingly groom it and dress it. And my body lovingly responds to me with vibrant health and energy." It's so beautiful. It goes on from there and it talks about, you know, the way that you create your environment in your house, you know, as an act of self-love and so on. But it continues on. And the point is that if we do not identify ourselves as pure spirit, pure love, with an infinite well of that divine love within us, that in divine wisdom, all of those qualities of God, there is the tendency to take on a false identity that is put upon us by our culture, the culture that believes we're separate, that we have to look outside ourselves for love because there's not enough in us, we need to go get it somewhere. So that false identity then develops into beliefs like I'm not enough, or I'm not worthy of love. You know, these are the things that develop because of our false identity as separate, as, you know, the skin, you know, just simply the skin, or our thoughts, or that kind of thing. But we're so much more than that when we really truly get that we are pure spirit, that our source is within is infinite, our truth, our true essence is the substance of God itself. Then our value becomes what? Immeasurable, incalculable. An all-inclusive value. Our value is the value of God. And so things like not worthy and not enough just don't make sense when we realize that truth of our being. So as a result of owning your true identity, my friends, your world transforms before your very eyes. Your self-esteem will blossom beyond your wildest dreams, and you will treat yourself with compassion and appreciation because you know who you are in truth. You are the very life of God, individualized. When we love ourselves for who we really are, as pure spirit, we automatically align with that flow of love from the infinite well within, the flow of wisdom, guiding us into right action, right thinking, right speaking, which is revealed as a successful and prosperous life. Jesus said, by their fruits you will know them. When we love ourselves, when we begin by loving ourselves, the fruits are peace, balance, harmony in all of our relationships. And she goes on, the prayer goes on to say, I love myself, therefore I behave and think in a loving way to all people. For I know that that which I give out returns to me multiplied. I attract only loving people in my world, for they are a mirror of what I am. That's the concept of projection, which is what we carry around with us is that which we experience in our lives. We literally project onto the world who we are. So if we trust ourselves, we tend to, we tend to bring trust into our relationships. Of course, until sometimes it's broken, but we have a tendency to trust. We have a tendency to trust the universe and to trust the universal law in its own time to provide us those dreams and visions that we have about our lives. There's a saying that says, if you do not love yourself, you cannot truly love anyone. That's why self-love is where we begin, in order that we are able then to love others more fully. When we practice in self-love, we know that radical self-care is really important. I had a session with Dean this week, and we were looking at what my 3 top priorities are in my life. And this is something that I just inherently knew because I understand the concept of putting on your mask first before you support others, right? On an airplane, you're supposed to put the mothers and whatever, put on your mask first before you assist others. And so I know that my self-care is extremely important if I am to be of service to anyone else. my prayer, my spiritual practices, the care of my body, making sure I get enough exercise, and so on. So it's not a selfish thing. It's actually a very important thing if you want to be of greater service to those around you. So when we do that, we come from overflow. It's called overflow. Then we have this greater well of kindness, generosity, and respect for others. And so the way that you feel about yourself determines the quality of your life. There was a story that I read that really touched my heart. It was a story of an important speaker who addressed the student body of a small college in South Carolina some time ago. The auditorium was filled with students excited about the opportunity to hear a person of her stature speak. As the governor introduced her, the speaker moved to the microphone, looked very mindfully from one end of the auditorium to the next, just making a connection with everybody, and began, I was born to a mother who was deaf and could not speak. I do not know who my father was. I still don't. The first job I ever had was in a cotton field. And nothing has to remain the way it is, if that's not the way we want it to be. It isn't luck, and it isn't circumstances, and it isn't being born in a certain way that causes a person's future to become what it becomes. Excuse me. And she softly repeated, nothing has to remain the way it is if it's not the way we want it to be. All we have to do is to change a situation that brings unhappiness and dissatisfaction is to ask this question: how do I want this situation to be? That's vision, right? That's the vision. And then she said, we must commit to totally to personal actions that carry us there. Then a beautiful smile shone forth as she said, my name is Azzie Taylor Morton. I stand before you today as a treasurer of the United States of America. Azzie was one of those women, black women of her time, who broke the glass ceiling and became a treasurer of the entire United States of America. And what was it? What happened? It was a decision. It was a heaven on earth decision that she made, and that each of us have to make. It's not not a place that we have to find. So heaven on earth is not a place that we go to. It is a state of consciousness that comes through our decisions. This decision begins with accepting responsibility for your life, and that means accepting responsibility for your thoughts, your words, and your actions, and your beliefs. Your thoughts and your words will help to purify those beliefs that don't serve you. So in daily life, we are projecting what we carry inside. This is this idea of projection again. Ursula Burns, another amazing woman, was raised by a single mom, Olga Burns, who worked multiple jobs in the New York City projects to assure that her children got the educations that they deserved. In addition to that, she taught her children things like, make sure you have the courage to speak up for what you believe in. And she also told them, this is where you're going to grow up. However, this is not what defines you. You get to decide how you define yourself. Very powerful message. So Ursula went to good Catholic colleges that her mother was somehow able to get her into. I'm sure it was scholarships at the time. And she decided she wanted to be an engineer. And she was able to get a scholarship to a New York university. Soon she was hired by Xerox. When she got out of college, she ended up getting a master's degree, was hired by Xerox, and then worked her way up the corporation. And with a very different kind of attitude. Her attitude was one of inclusivity and care about her fellow employees. Soon she was mentored by the then president. She became vice president first, was mentored by the president of the Xerox Corporation, who was a woman, and then became the first Black woman CEO in a global corporation. She now uses, she's no longer there, but she now uses her fame as a platform for social change. She's still speaking up, the thing that her mother taught her. And she is still supporting others in not allowing themselves to be defined by society, but to define who they are themselves. She is doing her part of co-creating heaven on earth, a world that works for all. So can you see God in yourself? That's the question today. Can you see God in yourself? This, my friends, is the key to the importance of self-love, understanding to love that divine presence that you are, and all the ways that you express it in this human realm. It doesn't mean that you just that you overlook the things that you need to change. You know, you love yourself, and still you support your own growth and expansion and unfoldment. So it's a reminder that spirit is your source and your essence, that your mind is one with the mind of God. It's the very mind of God, individualized, that it constructs, it forms a mold in which spiritual substance is poured, and it becomes your life experience, the results in your life. And so, my friends, and this is a reminder for me too, it's time for all of us to wake up and realize that just changing the effect, changing our job, or changing our fitness program, or changing our relationships, or changing our locations won't create the lasting change that we're looking for. That change comes from where the causal realm is. That is the change of our beliefs, the change of something in the subconscious mind that becomes the film through which the light that we are is projected into the world. So it's the film that we need to change, that subconscious mind. Because then, in actively changing our beliefs, we receive the change that we're looking for in our lives. I have finally become very much aware of that with a hip issue that I've been having. I've been doing all the things in the world of effects, like going to physical therapy and doing exercises and all of those kinds of things, but I finally said, okay, it's cause that I need to work on. So I've been adding that into my prayers, asking my prayer partners to focus on those causal things in consciousness, and I've made myself, with using my phone, I recorded my voice doing denials. That's denying that something's, is what it is. Affirmations, those are powerful questions, and affirmations. And I will give you a report on the results. So it doesn't mean we don't do things in the world of effects, but it means for us to realize it begins within. That's where the real change takes place. So all is energy. The universe responds with the same energy that we emit. When we emit love, the universe responds by offering this beautiful experience of paradise on earth. So let's just turn within, my friends, and give thanks for this opportunity to dive deep within ourselves into that infinite well of love that is sourced in God itself. Realizing that we are amazing, multidimensional, whole, perfect, and complete spirit beings here on this adventure, this part of our eternal journey that is an adventure on planet Earth in this Earth suit. Giving thanks for this opportunity to discover and demonstrate our divinity through the creative nature of our thoughts, words, and actions, through our beliefs. And so I know that this day is a new day, a new opportunity for each one of us to say yes to the deep inner change that is necessary for our lives to progress. To say yes to understanding the richness and the depth and the power of the inner life, which is love, which is wisdom, which is God. So I am claiming the truth for each and every one of us that our lives are transformed through this beautiful awakening awareness and through the energies that we direct in the direction of transforming consciousness. We truly are the light of the world. And for this I give my thanks. I release this word into the universal law of mind, accepting it as fulfilled and done. And I invite us all to say together, yes, and so it is. Thank you, my friends. And now I would like to again invite Sharon to come back and just share her beautiful brilliance of music with us. Thank you, Sharon.